She's mad. Timur sprang up. That'll fetch up 100 chaps. What are you doing? But the heavy wheel had already creaked and turned, the ropes had jerked and pulled. 3 stop, 3 stop, stop. And under the roofs of sheds, in attics and in chicken coops the signal buzzers, bottles, tin cans and rattles rang, banged and clattered. If not 100, at least 50 youngsters came charging into the garden in response to the familiar signal. Olga. Jenny flew up onto the porch. We're going to see George off too. There's a lot of us. Take a look. Oh, exclaimed George in surprise. You've got a big company there. Big enough to be loaded onto a train and sent off to the front. Can't be done, Jenny sighed, repeating Timur's words. All the officers and other bosses have strict orders to kick out all the kids. It's a shame. I could fit in somewhere to take part in a battle, in an attack. Machine guns forward. Number 1. Number 1 braggart in the world. Olga teased. She fixed the strap of the accordion over her shoulder and said, well, if we're going to see him off, let's do it properly, music and all. They trooped out into the road. Olga played her accordion, and an orchestra of bottles. Tin cans, glass jars and sticks stepped out in front and struck up a lively accompaniment. They tramped down the green streets, their ranks growing as they marched along. At first people could not understand what all the noise and the singing was about. But as soon as they were told, they smiled, and called out to wish George good luck. As they approached the platform, an army train swept by. The first carriages were full of soldiers. The crowd waved and called out to them. Then came flat cars with a whole forest of green shafted army carts. Then horse boxes. The horses tossed their heads and chewed hay. They, also, were greeted with hurrahs. Finally came a flat car bearing a large, angular object covered over with grey tarpaulin. Standing by it and swaying with the motion of the train was a sentry. The troop train disappeared and a passenger train pulled in. Timur said goodbye to his uncle. Olga went up to George. "Well, goodbye," she said. "Will it be for long?" He shook his head and gripped her hand. "I don't know. Let's hope not." The whistle blew. The orchestra blared. The train pulled out. Olga stood lost in thought. In Jenny's eyes there shone a great happiness, though she did not know why. Timur was upset, but he tried to mask his emotions. "Well," he said in a voice not quite his own, "now I'm on my own, too." And, bracing his shoulders, he added, "However, Mother will be coming tomorrow." "And what about this?" "What about me?" Jenny shouted, "Them." She pointed to his comrades, pointed to his red star. "Don't worry," Olga said to Timur, shaking herself out of her reverie. "You've always thought about others, and they'll do the same to you." Timur raised his head. Grand, straightforward lad that he was, he answered exactly as might have been expected. He swept his eyes over his comrades, smiled, and said, "I see everybody feels fine. Then I feel fine too."